What if I told you the most successful trucking companies in 2025 are doing three things completely differently than everybody else? Welcome to the Trucking Trailblazers podcast. I'm your host, Rob Palmer, and today we're uncovering exactly what those game-changing strategies are. Today on the show, I have Cody Coller from ANZ Trucking. Great to have you here, Cody.
Great to be on, buddy. Thank you.
So I was just going to start off with brought you into this role that you have now, and how did you get to ANZ Trucking?
Oh, man. So I started in supply chain when I was 18 years old with Walmart. So that was 23 years ago. It's turning 41 tomorrow, actually. So kind of got my, taste for supply chain, buying, inventory management, all that fun stuff. That led me to work with Associated Food Stores. I grew up right outside of Salt Lake. Associated Food Stores is a large co-op distribution center up there that services, I think, 13 states or something in the Western U.S. And started off just in the warehouse with those guys. And about 8 months into that, I actually moved into their routing / logistics division. And just from there, kind of fell in love with it. So, buying trailers, tractors, working with drivers on bids, working with all of our retailers on scheduling, working with the warehouse, working with the buying team. I mean, at one point in time, I was even backing up trailers in the yard, hustling trailers when they needed it, which, by the way, my very first time I did damage a trailer pretty bad. Wasn't very good at that, but they didn't let me do that very much. I've kind of done everything from picking orders to buying to, buying equipment, delivering. Now I'm on the brokerage side. ANZ is a logistics provider. We do managed logistics services for certain customers, as well as full scale 4PL with warehousing, transportation options, technology options, etc. We consider ourselves a 4PL because we do have warehousing options. We're very, very heavy in the produce area. So have warehouses in the produce hubs in America, Salinas, Yuma, Yakima Valley, Washington, and then upstate New York, like Hudson Valley, New York area. And we do a lot of cross-dock consolidation programs, warehousing, repack for a lot of our customers.
Okay. And you mentioned where you're hauling. Who are you hauling for? It's obviously produce. Is it the companies that are shipping it, or is it? Are you hauling directly to the grocers, or where is that?
Both. So we work with a lot of the growers and shippers and farmers directly, as well as a lot of the major retailers, Whole Foods, Sprouts Farmers Market, Ahold. We work with CNS. We work with Associated Food Stores, Walmart, Aldi. So most of the major food store chains, Kroger, we work with directly, but we also work a lot with shippers and growers. I'm in Phoenix, so during Yuma season, it's really easy for me just to drive out there. But during the Salinas season right now, with all the leafy greens being grown in California, I'm usually there about once a month. I'm just meeting with shippers, growers, making sure that our warehouse is running smooth, all that fun stuff.
So what is it that everyone in the industry misunderstands about trucking in 2025 these days?
That it's easy. I hear that a lot. Like, if I meet somebody new and I tell them that, we're a truck brokerage, they're just like, oh, okay. One, usually they don't understand it, but then two, it's like, it sounds really easy. You just sit behind a computer and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, one, drivers, I have a major, appreciation for drivers, got a soft spot for those guys because I've been there. I've hired drivers. I've done bids with drivers. I bought their equipment. I've delivered with drivers. And I think that it's just a lot of people don't understand that the supply chain is like the lifeblood of America as well as Canada. I mean, without supply chain, none of us get to eat. None of us get to buy new furniture, get new cars. I mean, there's an old saying that we always say is like anything that you have in your house at one point in time moved on a truck.
Yeah, everything's delivered by truck. So
yeah, exactly.
The last bit. So
yeah, it's just I think that COVID kind of brought us to light a little bit more than we'd ever had before. And I think that when a lot of the supply chain issues kind of calmed down a little bit, it just went right back to not a ton of appreciation. Not a lot of people know us. It's not like a sexy industry, right? Like I never grew up and through school was asked if I want to be in logistics. Like that's not, they just don't do that. So it's not something that gets the attention. I'm at least I'm lucky here in Phoenix. ASU, our major college down here, has a very good logistics program. So, they always refer to us as the Chicago of the West because we are kind of We're the fastest growing logistics hub in America, really fast. You've got a lot of major asset-based guys here as well as 3PL guys. And I'm lucky because there's a lot of talent down here, but across the nation, it just doesn't get the attention that it should.
So what are you guys doing to, on the asset side, keep your drivers happy, and then on the brokerage side, keep your brokers happy? The challenge in this current situation with the industry being a little bit on the...
With rates, I mean, it's been a very stagnant market for going on 2.5 years, 3 years, something like that. After we had that major COVID boom, it calmed down and it's just been very, very stagnant. So fighting for every dollar that we can to make sure that our carriers are taken care of. And then obviously being as competitive as we can on the pricing for our customers. It's a very difficult balancing act. But then also adapting to all the new technologies. I mean, you guys are a tech company, so like, our drivers, we want to make their lives as easy as they can because believe it or not, most of the time they're out there, this, but a lot of the audience might not. They're out there for 3 or 4 weeks at a time. They're booking loads from their smartphones. They're checking in with their brokers, like if it's us, or checking in with a delivery or something through their smartphones when they're stopping. Other than that, they're holding the wheel, dealing with all the craziness that's on the road, whether that's weather or other drivers, mostly other drivers. So we're trying to simplify everybody's world by technology, especially the last couple of years. So we've rolled out a lot of new tech for our drivers specifically, and then for our customers, being as streamlined as we can. So making sure that our communication's streamlined. It's not the same as it was 10 years ago where a simple email or a text message was good. Everybody has their own TMSs, so being able to integrate seamlessly with all of the TMSs as well as whatever software the drivers need, I think has been a major challenge for most of our industry. But, we've really focused on that the last couple of years.
So what other major challenges are you having out there? Is it mainly, like we're talking about the tech obviously today, do you have any challenges with the new technology that's coming out, like the trucks, hydrogen fuel cells or biodiesel? Are you guys investigating any of that kind of new tech on that side, on the asset side?
Not yet. We do have an asset fleet. It's dedicated directly just up in the Northeast, and it is very food service oriented. So it's a lot of stops and not a lot of miles. Electric's actually very attractive when it comes to that. Cut down on all the idle time and all that fun stuff. But I think the biggest challenge still is just finding good talent, especially on the driver front. It's just like I said, it's not a sexy industry. It doesn't get the attention that it deserves. So there's the recruitment's very tough to find new drivers and find good drivers. We're battling, of course, with the new law that just came out with the English speaking. I'm not really sure what impact that's going to have realistically, but there are definitely a lot of immigrants that drive. It's a very good career. I mean, they can make a lot of money.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see where that goes. Are you guys investigating using AI at all to streamline your operations?
Yep, we already are. We use AI on pricing structures, some operational, there's a lot of busy work that AI can automate that, BOL collection, simple paperwork stuff, track and trace functionality, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I think that AI is the wave of the future. If people aren't jumping on board with it, they're not going to have a job in 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And, a lot of people are worried about how that's going to shift their employees, but I think it'll just make them more efficient if they take people off of doing mundane tasks that AI can do really, really well. So how are you guys adapting to the cybersecurity issues that the world's facing these days?
Yeah, I mean, fraud's huge in our industry, right? Like across the board. But I mean, we were early adopters for some of the new tech that's been out there the last couple of years, like a highway, for example, CarrierSure, for example. For us, we have our own internal IT team that keeps us pretty safe from hackers, at least in general, knock on wood. But the biggest thing for us, especially being a 4PL, is our carriers getting hacked. And we have seen that happen where, maybe a carrier that we've worked with the last 20 years, their account gets hacked, their bank account gets hacked. We've had that happen where they went under. I mean, they were a 20-year-old MC and they went under because their bank account went from X to 0 like that. Yeah. And on top of that, the fraud, they love to hack people's accounts and steal loads and do all the fun shit that they're doing out there. And it's crazy to me, but we were early adopters and we're very, very active when it comes to that because you're only as good as your last load. And the last thing you ever want to tell a customer is, hey, your load just got stolen because we didn't dot our I's and cross our T's.
Absolutely. So what's one piece of technology that you wish existed, but actually doesn't?
Man, at least for us, I would say something along the lines from, I don't know if it would be like a yard management system or a TMS or what it would be, but something that actually traces from a supply chain. We work with a lot of growers, right? And in produce, a lot of people don't realize that produce is literally shipped the day it's picked for the most part, outside of apples and onions and stuff like that, and citrus. But something that actually integrated from a grower's TMS all the way through to the truck, so that we understood dwell times a little bit better, because I do think that's one of the major challenges that we have in this industry is it's downtime, dwell time, whatever it is. Drivers make money while they're holding the wheel, and they want to make money. We want them to make money. And what we don't want is people sitting. And there's too many times that, you got to schedule a pickup, for example, and the inventory is not ready for 8 hours. So your driver just burned an entire day that he could have been on the road, which means that you burned an entire day to get that driver back with a different load. And I think that's the biggest. I always hear about. Yeah, I always hear about this driver shortage all the time. Even when the market's soft like it is now, I still hear about driver shortages. But what people don't understand is, I think, last time I checked with my buddy Dean Croak over there at DAT, dwell time was, it was upwards of like double digits of a driver's actual on-duty time. Wow. So if you're thinking 10%, 12%, whatever that is, and they're trying to drive their 70 in a week, that's 7 hours on average. We'll just use round numbers because I'm not that intelligent. 7 hours that they're sitting there doing nothing instead of actually doing what is, a revenue producing task. Yeah, so I think something like that would be great.
So if you were starting a trucking company today, what would you do differently?
I would seriously look at electric vehicles. I don't own an electric vehicle, but everything that I've read about the Tesla semis it's pretty great. It's pretty good. I know the infrastructure isn't there quite yet across the nation, but then I also see, and I was at a conference not too long ago about the self-driving electric vehicles that are already running in Texas and a couple other areas. And I think that that's the wave of the future. You're never going to take the driver completely out of it. I don't think that, and even on the brokerage side, we can automate as much as we want, but people work with people that they know and trust. You can't trust a computer. You can't know a computer. So I don't think you're ever going to take the human element out of it. But I think that going heavy investment on electric vehicles, there's a lot of incentives to do that too, from a government standpoint. From a business standpoint, I think it just makes sense.
Okay, well, that's my last question. If you have anything else you'd like to make, otherwise, thanks very much, Cody, for taking the time out of your busy day to be on our podcast here. And it's been great getting to know a little bit about ANZ Trucking.
Yeah, likewise, buddy. Thanks for having me on.
Okay. Do you guys have any trouble like finding new customers, or do you guys pretty much stay where you're at?
We saw, so Q2, we just got done with our numbers for Q2, and we saw like a 33% increase quarter over quarter, and we saw almost a 40% increase year over year. So we stayed at about the same size for probably 5 years, but then I took over our sales and marketing about 3 years ago, and I went heavy AI. I went heavy on the agent program, nice. And we've seen some great results from it. It's definitely, I'm always looking for new customers, right? But we use Apollo AI for our sales, like our lead generation and.
Okay.
And
what other, you said you're using agents. Which agents have you dabbled in on? Have you done any voice stuff where people can call in?
So we do that on the carrier
side.
Management side. So we have AI on our carrier management side, where if a carrier is trying to like book a load with us, for example, or something like that, it calls in and we do have an AI generated answering service, AI generated email service that is going to filter through all of their questions and before it actually goes to one of our live agents.
We've been playing around with doing like database reactivation, calling old past customers that haven't been active through using AI voice. And it's pretty amazing. We haven't actually put it into play yet, but pretty amazing with what you can do there. People still know that it's AI. It can look at book a meeting for you. It's pretty.
And if it books one meeting out of 1,000 that it calls, that's one more meeting you didn't have. So it's worth it. So what do you? So New Tech Digital. So what do you guys? What's your fame? What's your name?
So I would say, to describe it easily, is we're like a holistic IT company that works in trucking only. So we work a wide spectrum of services they will offer. So we'll do custom development for software. We have our own app right now. It basically for hazmat. So when a carrier picks up a load, it reads the BOL. AI will pick out all the information about it, run the 49 CFR on it, the rules, all that kind of stuff, and then we'll also do a lot of CRM and marketing work as well. So email marketing, we're working on the agent stuff for the outbound calling. And we do a lot of lead gen for trucking companies as well. It's kind of like it's a flip flop or whatever. When they're looking for new business, they want to do inbound lead gen, and then we also on the flip side do driver recruitment. Usually when we're not doing the lead gen, they build the business up, and then they need the drivers to be able to do it. We don't work with a lot of brokers, but we have some brokers that a lot of our asset-based companies as well do the 3PL, 4PL stuff. We do the gamut of IT. Basically, I like to say is like if it's a computer, we do it phone systems, cloud-based phone systems where people can be branch office, connect through all one system. Dynamics, Microsoft Dynamics is one of our CRMs that we do a lot of work in, and then we do the security, endpoint security, cloud stuff, pretty much. How many IT guys do you guys have there?
I mean, technically we only have 2, and I've actually, the last 3 months have been, our main IT manager is 65. So she's, coming up on our worry point to how we're going to replace her. So it's actually kind of good that we had this conversation, because we are going to actively be looking this next year into a third party. I think that we've decided that we want to go third party instead of keeping in-house for, a pyramid of different reasons. It might be something for us to talk about.
Yeah. So we do fully managed, where it's like we basically become your external IT resource, like everything. We like to say it's like even a virtual CIO. So we'll sit down and do the planning if you got a new TMS you want to implement or something like that. And then we also, a big one that we're getting into is co-managed. So actually what it sounds like in your case, we're doing this with a company right now is transitioning. We're co-managed right now with their existing IT. And then when he retires, then we'll just take over as fully managed. So then you kind of learn the gamut while you still have someone there, and you basically, we work together. People can submit tickets. The internal IT person looks at it if they want to handle it. If they're on holidays or they've called in sick or whatever, then we have an SLA that gets it over to us right away. That sort of thing. It's working really well for a lot of trucking companies.
It's a discussion when we're ready to actually start looking. We haven't put anything out to bid or anything yet, but it was brought up in our May executive retreat. That was our plan for this next year, was to look at some options to replace her. So it might be something to look at. I mean, we're not a huge company. There's only about 50 of us. So, not giant by any means. So,
and you have the 4 offices, or the other locations are more like remote type thing where they're working?
Yeah. So I got into a really nasty dispute with my landlord here in Phoenix. So we're actually all remote here in Phoenix. And then we have a big office in Raleigh, North Carolina, and then an office up in New York that office is more of just a warehouse, and then it houses our accounting team. But the majority of our ops team is either in Raleigh or in Phoenix.
Okay. Well, that sounds like an idea. At least we can explore if it'd be a fit there. When do you think that would make sense to start chatting about that?
Probably early Q4. So probably October-ish. That'd be, we usually we kind of only make changes with IT, whether that's going to be a new TMS or anything outside of just a random bolt-on or something, always in Q1, just because it's the slowest time for us in the food service industry. Okay. So it's easier for us to not have any hiccups to our customers. So early Q4 would be the best to start having those conversations.
Okay. Yeah. We have a small carrier in food service that we support right now. So
okay.
I think they're only about 35 trucks. But that's all they do. So, yeah, we're familiar with the space, and that sounds like a plan. But just out of curiosity, what's the TMS you guys are using?
We're using Turbo right now. Yeah, not super happy with it, but it works. But a lot of stupid red tape. But every TMS we've had since I've been here in 8 years has been the same.
So yeah, one of the reasons why I ask is we're actually developing a TMS, but I'm not sure it would work because you're using Turbo for both sides on the asset and the brokerage.
It's a completely different TMS. I'm lucky because I don't have anything to do with our asset side anymore. I got my fair share of dealing with that shit for 15 years. So I'm strictly on the brokerage side. And yeah, I mean, I'm not exactly sure what they're using up there, but they don't use Turbo. It's just us on the brokerage side.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah. So we're developing our own mainly for smaller organizations, but I don't know, it might be something that eventually it grows into something. We're going to be just adding features, as we see fit, and basically what the market's wanting. So right now it's a little bit limited for probably your size, but definitely we're always looking for people to give us suggestions of things that they would want. And if it ever was something that you want to look at, then we could certainly do that as well.
Yeah, definitely. And then, I'd love in the future, if you want to jump on my podcast, I usually do one every 2 weeks. And the majority of my audience is going to be, it's not so much brokers, it's mostly shippers and carriers. So could be something good, at least to help get your name out there.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. Is it mainly in the food shipping part, or is it?
It's all supply chain oriented. So I have guests on there that are flatbed oriented, and where you guys have, a hazmat, basically you can help people with hazmat. That'd be something good to sell.
That's what I was just about to say. We've only had it out since March, so it's something we're really promoting. Yeah, it's basically a new market, right? Like there's no one really that has an app that does what ours does. So yeah, I'd love to be on your podcast. That'd be great.
Okay. Yeah, I'll shoot you some dates later this summer. I think I'm booked up through the 1st of September, but let me double check, and we can go from there.
Awesome. Great, Cody. Thanks again for taking the time today, and we'll chat soon sometime in the fall for the support, and then I'd love to be on the podcast, like I said. So take care, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay. Bye.